Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today I will be explaining just the difference between the unroll and squish command and when they can be used and when they can't be used for different objects. And this can be applied for when you want to have a 3D geometry then applied to 2D and then create geometry on top of it. So I'm going to demonstrate it for this box to start off with. So I'm just going to hit explode. And your first approach might be just to do a rotate 3D and just kind of individually rotate all the surfaces, which is fine, but it just can be a bit time consuming. So the better option is to use Unroll, and what I'm going to do is just join, as Unroll won't work if it's not all joined, so I'm just going to hit join and then just go Unroll. Now it gives you a couple options. I'm going to hit for this demonstration yes to the labels just to show what that looks like, and then I'm just going to leave the rest on no. So I'm just going to hit enter. And as you can see, it produces a flattened version of the box. And if you were to draw curves on this in 2D, you can then rotate and then apply to the 3D, which is quite helpful. And then you know with the labels exactly which surface corresponds to which surface on the box, which is really helpful. So I'm going to show you how this would work as well for something which is a bit more complex. So I'm just going to go no for labels this time, and I'm just going to hit enter. And as you can see, it produces a flattened version of this geometry, and then you could draw in 2D here and then operate in 3D on that surface there, which is quite helpful. So I'm just going to compare this to the squish command. So I've just pre-prepared this roof structure here, and I'm just going to demonstrate how the unroll doesn't want to work for this surface just because it is a doubly curved surface. So the squish command is better for this type of geometry. So I'm just going to hit squish, and then I'm just going to leave all the options as is and then just go enter, and it produces an outcome. It's not perfectly accurate. It does its best to be as perfect as possible. However, it has to push and shove a little bit around in certain areas. However, it is pretty decent when you want to create geometry onto a surface. I'll just compare this to the flatten command because I can just want to show the difference between the outcomes. As you can see, flatten produces a way different outcome, which is less accurate to then work with from 2D to 3D. So I'm just going to show now this squish back command and how it can be useful in creating from objects from 2D to 3D. And I'm just going to compare it to the flow along surface. I have created a grid, which I'm just going to apply to this surface here. I'm just going to go project curves. And now what I'm going to do is just project the curves, put the curves using flow along surface onto this object here. So I'm just going to hit flow along surface and then just select all the objects. And then hit enter. And then the base surface, I'm just going to select that corner there. And then just select this corner here just to match it up. And as you can see, it applies it. However, it doesn't meet with the edges here, and sometimes it can also distort the pattern. So it's not perfectly accurate to what we have drawn in 2D. So the better option is the squish back command. So I'm just going to go squish back. And then I'm going to select the surface, and then I'm going to highlight all the curves and then hit enter. And it just applies it back to the original surface. And as you can see, it meets way better with the edges than this one, and it doesn't distort the pattern as much. As you can see, it kind of looks quite different here as it does there, and it meets up way more accurately as it does, which you've drawn in 2D to then the 3D, which is way better for working with. Now I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how this could be applied to some geometry. So I've just pre-prepared this secondary grid, which has been offset and created this kind of squared pattern on the roofing structure. And I'm just going to use this squish back command again. And as you can see, it applies it to that same object. And what I'm going to do is just to split. And then I'm just going to select all the cutting objects, like that, and hit enter. And then it splits the surface, and then I'm just going to drag this out. And I might just extrude this as well. Just going to do 1 meter for now. And now you can see that it has this offset kind of roof structure, which we've created in 2D and then applied to the 3D. That is all. Thanks for watching.